I'm a simple man. You release a Zelda-looking game with an adorable animal protagonist, I will probably play it. Tunic is a game released back in March for PC and Xbox that garnered quite a bit of buzz when people were able to tear themselves away from Elden Ring for long enough. You play as an unnamed character who looks a bit like Link in fox form, and you set out on an adventure in an isometric world. It's largely what you'd expect from a Zelda clone in almost every way. You solve dungeons, unlock items, fight bosses, and explore a leafy green overworld. On this front, it's excellent. Our fox buddy has a charming bounciness to him as he wanders the world, level design is tight and intuitive, and while combat is simple, it offers a surprising amount of challenge. It's also just gorgeous. Our protagonist's design is instantly likeable with some cute animations, while the world has a charming minimalism to it that keeps things clean and simple, but still retains character and identity in every corner. So far, so standard for a game of this type, but Tunic does a lot of really interesting things to shake up the formula, and manages to somehow marry modern game design with nostalgia for the past. The main way it does this is through its instruction manual. Now, this is a digital-only game, so it's not a physical manual. Instead, there are pages scattered across the entire map, and each page you find gives you a little more information about the game as you progress. You start out with a page explaining the game screen and revealing the early game's main progression as a checklist. As you go, you unlock maps, control details, and gradual bits of plot, along with some absolutely beautiful artwork. And by the end of the game, the manual eventually begins revealing a few secrets of its own, leading you to examine it a lot more closely than you initially thought you'd need to. It's such an ingenious design move. It's a type of tutorial method, but also just a really cute way to make the game feel like an old adventure from the 90s, where you'd scribble notes in the margins and write cheat codes in the notes pages at the back. There are even parts of the manual that have scrawled notes written in a failing biro that are just pitch perfect for this exact vibe. But when the manual itself became a puzzle, I was invested. I'm not going to spoil much on this front because it is exactly the kind of thing you need to truly discover for yourself, but it is the exact thing that I want to see more of in games. Clues laid out in front of you and you being left to fit those pieces together without any guidance. And man, does it really go all out on this front. In fact, leaving you to figure it out is a big part of Tunic's design overall. It's a game that does little to hold your hand. Most of the in-game text is translated into a strange, symbol-based cipher language. Detectives online have been making an effort to figure out how to solve it all, and while it seems doable, it's a hefty task all the same. This immediately creates a sense of otherness to the world, a place of mystery and intrigue that pushes you to explore further, using what little context you have to figure out what to do next. It is intentionally vague in almost all aspects. Sure, you get a checklist of places you need to go at the start of the game, but the way you go about that is still unknown. You have to figure out which direction you're going next. The world is also almost all open to you from the start, with only some areas hidden away based on items you need. Some of the more secretive aspects of the world are in fact open to you right from the start, but the only thing preventing you from accessing them outright is knowledge that they're there at all. But there are times when this vagueness can be a little too much. There were definitely moments of frustration while playing where I didn't feel a mechanical feature was explained very well, and the use of a fictional language for so many bits of in-game text sometimes had me rolling my eyes when I'd read a sign for information, only to be greeted by squiggles. It was especially egregious in the manual where there'd be times I felt necessary information was there, but being hidden. I don't know for sure, of course, but that was the feeling I got, and it honestly got a little bit silly at times as a result. There were also times when the game's difficulty felt off. Not that the game was too hard, although there was definitely some challenge there. It was more that there were weird peaks and troughs with the difficulty level. There'd be times when I'd struggle against basic enemies in an area before breezing through the boss fight, or vice versa. There's also one notoriously frustrating fight in a later part of the game that felt more annoying than challenging, and led me to turn on no fail mode simply to get through it. Again, not to spoil too much, and what you're seeing is not the fight I'm talking about, but it was a fight where it shifted uncomfortably from challenging but failure is always your own fault to let's throw a million things at you at once and you just pray you survive the onslaught. And eventually that just got too annoying to deal with. But despite these frustrations, there was something truly special about Tunic. The sense of isolation, the joy of finding things in the world as a reward for my thinking, rather than simply checking something off a list, and the manual concept. It all left a significant impression on me. One that leaves me thinking back fondly on everything I played through and thinking, damn, more games really need to do that. The attention to detail, the care and diligence applied to every aspect of the game's design, it is the definition of a labour of love. Tunic is the kind of game that only happens when the people behind it have a distinct vision and work tirelessly to make sure that it's realised. And they succeeded. Tunic is superb, and if you haven't already checked it out and you're a fan of exploration, puzzle solving, or indeed The Legend of Zelda or Dark Souls, then it's a game that you will absolutely adore, because I certainly did. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this quick little review of Tunic. It is out now on PC and Xbox. You can get it through Game Pass if you so wish. That's how I played it, in fact. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like. If you're new, why not subscribe? And let me know your thoughts on the game down below in the comments section. If you would like to support this channel, I do have a Patreon. Please go check the link in the description. Thank you for watching, and I will see you again very soon.